Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Andy Nguyen.
That's the crowd.
Oh, I was like, was she howling there? What was going on? I don't know. Andy, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Awesome, awesome. So nice to have you on and everything. We're really excited, to have an opportunity to chat with you. I know that I've seen you around. You've been to some of the events and stuff that we've done and stuff like that. And obviously I see you on Facebook and, you doing your thing. So kind of flamboyant, which is a whole nother thing that we really want to talk about. I guess the first thing that I want to ask you, Andy, is that what's a girl like you doing in the fight world? Got out there beating people down.
I've always been a tomboy at heart, so I mean, if you take off the makeup and stuff, I mean, I'm not that pretty in the cage.
You're not that pretty in the cage. I think that's kind of an intent, I think, to put your ugly on, right? When you go in the ring, you don't want to be at the, I'm modeling right now, so no, because somebody's trying to take your block off. But for real though, I am curious about what is it that enticed you to get into the fight game? I mean, you said you were a tomboy, but how tell me a little bit about how you got started.
Well, I love sports. I've always been competitive. I just moved to South Carolina. I mean, moved to Myrtle Beach. I lived in Greenville since I was 13 years old. I was born in California. Okay, so
Hold on. Hold on. Let me interject right there. You were born in California. What
I was
part?
born in California. I lived in Los Angeles till I was 13 years old. Then my mother moved us to Greenville, South Carolina. All right, and then I moved to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina at the age 26, 27, so my son could get closer to his father. His father was living there.
Right.
And so MMA just was legalized. And he took me to my first show. Him and his fiance took me to. They were both my first friends in Myrtle Beach. I had no friends in Myrtle Beach.
Right.
I didn't want to go. I didn't want to see two naked half guys, in the cage. I didn't want to see all that. So I was just mingling and I was having some drinks and stuff. And then these two girls came out, and I was just like, "Oh my God, hold my beer!" And I just wanted to do it. So actually, these two girls that fought was Crystal Lawson Parrish and Jordan McDonald.
Right.
They fought at the 115 bout in that division, and I was like, I could so do this at 115 pounds. And my son's father was like, "This is so you." And
Right.
like all
Right.
his friends are like, "No, don't tell your baby mama to fight. She's too pretty." And he's like, "You don't know her. You don't know her like I do." So he got me into a gym, and then 3 months later, I won my first amateur fight, and everything ever since then, I just been hooked.
So, did you just start doing? I maybe missed this part because my other guests came on and they had a lot of stuff going on in the background. But did you start like martial arts first, or you just decided to just jump in there?
Just jump in there.
Well, hold on now. Hold on. So you didn't have any kicking, boxing, grappling, any kind of experience? Hey, I just want to punch somebody in the face.
Yes, sir. I didn't have anything.
Are you
I'm
serious?
serious. I'm serious.
It was
I wish
that.
I did. I wish I did more IKF when I was an amateur. I did almost 20 something 30 amateur MMA fights, which I could have did more IKF. I think I've only did the IKF twice. I did one in Myrtle Beach against Araceli, and then I did
You fought
one.
Araceli?
Yes, I fought Araceli
Where?
in Myrtle Beach. It was like this small little venue. It's not at the hotel. I forgot what it's called, but yeah, I fought Araceli. She was with eight eight points.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
with Chris Crawford. I mean, she's
Yes,
one
yes.
of our champions.
So I was still an amateur back then, so it had been like over 5 years ago. I lost the
Right,
decision. She was more aggressive. Of course, she does a lot of Muay Thai, and I did more MMA.
right.
Yeah, and then I did another IKF in Florida. I fought the first girl, can't remember her name. I won, went over to the next fight. Never fought 2 times in one day. I fought Cora Wilson, and she ended up winning the belt. Do you know who Cora Wilson is?
I know the name.
She trains with Danny Dringid.
Drink, yeah.
Yes.
Drink. Okay, yeah.
So I wish I did more. I wish I did more, but
So you had about did you say you had about 20 amateur fights?
I had about 20 MMA amateur fights, and then I had 3 boxing matches, and I was 3-3 in the kickboxing. So
Wow, that's a lot of experience.
that's a lot of experience.
Yeah,
With no,
yeah.
like just coming in with nothing, just
I
coming in.
mean, so you started. You were what? How did you say you were when you started?
I started pretty late. I started at 27.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Well, okay. So let me dive in here a minute. Okay. So there must be something else that I'm missing here. That you will go to an MMA fight, you see two women and they're punching each other and kicking each other and enjoying it, and do you all of a sudden just say, "I think I want to do that"? So, what did you fight a lot when you were younger?
I've been bullied. My friends been bullied before in school,
Oh, okay.
but and I always had their back, and they always think like pretty girls can't fight, and I can't stand that when people think that. So
Right.
I think that was kind of like my motto. I was like, pretty girls can fight. So that's how it all started.
So,
I,
so
you
this,
know,
this this was something about trying to prove something, perhaps to yourself and others.
yes, sir. It keeps me in track. It keeps me in shape. Keeps me out of trouble.
Yeah, but punching somebody in the face is not, or getting punched in the face is not a whole lot of fun.
No, it's like drinking coffee. It wakes me up.
Okay. Well, I guess that is another way to put it. Which one do you prefer? You've done some kickboxing, you said, but which
Yes,
one
sir.
do you prefer? Do you prefer
I, I
MMA or kickboxing?
I don't get nervous with MMA. I'm pretty comfortable. I still get the nerves and adrenaline for like when I was on line fights, and I can't wait to come back to line fights whenever this COVID thing is over with. I can't wait for my return. But I still get nervous, so I kind of enjoy that nervousness because it's gone for the MMA. I still love the sport. I love it all. But
Why do you think you're getting nervous for Muay Thai and kickboxing and not MMA? I don't know. Are you not as comfortable with the kicks and the checks and stuff like that?
I think it's because I don't have my fingers out or something. I don't know. It feels kind of claustrophobic. I'm not sure.
Ah,
I'm not sure.
I
I
would feel a
started
little
off with
different if my thing,
MMA.
huh?
So if you're comfortable with MMA, you start off with MMA. You know what I mean? So
Right,
that's just how it is. I'm pretty sure Muay Thai fighters would feel weird with whenever they do 1FC Muay Thai with the MMA gloves. They feel weird. They don't like it because I've
right.
talked to some of them and they said they didn't like it. They're not
Right,
used to
right,
it.
right. Yeah, so it's very, very different. So you feel a little more claustrophobic, if you will, with your hands.
Yes,
Nah,
sir.
okay. And that just adds a little bit to the nerves and things like that.
Yes, sir.
Wow, that's an interesting perspective. I don't know if I've really heard anybody say that, but I can certainly understand how that could be a factor. No doubt
Yes, sir.
about it, for sure. But when you fought on these different cards, give us a little bit of a snapshot of some of the cards that you fought on, because you fought kind of across the country for like all of the professional organizations, correct?
I fought for King of the Cage. I was their atomweight champion uh, 3 times. Let's see. I
Wow.
fought for Legacy, which is now LFA.
Right.
I fought for Ryzen. I fought for Bellator Japan when Bellator and Japan, Bellator and Ryzen, they did a joint a joint little
Right.
fight card. It was
Right.
last New Year's. It was a big card, and I fought for line fights. So yes, I fought for everybody.
Wow. So what's the farthest you traveled to fight?
Was the farthest? Uh, Fukuoka, Japan. That was for Ryzen.
Right, right. It's kind of interesting. I was looking somewhere and I saw where you called yourself a Caucasian.
Yeah.
Break that down for me. What is that?
Oh, like a crazy Asian. That's it. It's self-explanatory.
Well, yeah, kind of. I just wanted to make sure that you said it and I didn't.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
do you consider yourself, why do you consider yourself the crazy part?
It was actually one of my sponsors kept on texting me. He's like, "Sup, Crazian? How you doing?" And he always capitalized the C, lowercase R, capital A, and I always thought it looked cute. So once I turned pro, I just wanted to use it, and it just sticks with me.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So the Asian part is that what is your mix?
I'm Vietnamese.
Oh, you're Vietnamese, right?
Yes, sir.
It's not mixed. You're just Vietnamese. I don't know where
I'm
I
mixed
get
with
mixed.
egg and sperm. I mean, that's mixed, right?
What'd you say?
I said I'm mixed with egg and sperm. That's
Well,
mixed.
well, I guess that is a little bit of mix there. No
Yes,
doubt
sir.
about it. And when you are out there and you're competing as a woman, right? Are you trying to set some type of example? You mentioned earlier about the fact that, pretty girls can fight, but what about from a gender perspective? Are you trying to set some type of a standard, if you will, for women?
I've always enjoyed female fighting way better. I don't even watch the UFC. If there's nobody that I know on there
Right,
personally, I don't even want to watch it. If there's girls on there, I would watch it. My husband loves to watch it now, and I just don't care for it. It
right.
has to be somebody I know or a female.
Well,
It's just more
I
exciting.
just wonder why. I just
I don't
wonder
know what
why
it
your
is.
husband likes to watch women fighting. I mean, come on. I think a lot of guys, for whatever reasons, like that, right?
Yes, sir.
I do want to ask you though, being a woman in the fight world, have you faced like any kind of noted discrimination?
Oh yeah, because I did some ring girl stuff before. I remember people were like, "Oh, she's just a ring girl," and and I would beat her. So I had a lot of proof in the beginning because I did do some ring girl stuff, ring cards girl stuff. I didn't want to buy a ticket. I did not want to buy a ticket. I wanted that seat right there. If I couldn't fight, then I'm gonna be a ring girl, and I got paid for it. So
Right, right, right. But do you felt like you were being treated discriminately in any way throughout your career
maybe a
because
little.
you were a woman?
Maybe in the beginning, I not anymore. I think it's starting to be very common that there's a lot of female fighters out now. There's a lot of fighters everywhere.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. But you felt like that, you had to kind of like show something a little bit different or stand your own ground because men are chauvinists many times.
Yes,
Uh,
like
do
10
you
years
think
ago.
what do you think about your pay? And I know we know that none of the pay is all that great unless you're like maybe in the UFC, right?
Yes,
And
sir.
all, but do you think that there was any kind of discrimination in the pay?
Oh, I think so. I think girls that have looks and that's marketable, I think they get paid a little more. It's just business. It's marketing. It's the marketing tools. It's promotions. If they carry themselves well, they want to see a poster with a pretty face. It's
Well, speaking of that, though, but I mean, I don't know a lot about MMA, and I will tell you that. But there's a woman world champion right now who's like beating everybody like to a pulp, right? And you know what I'm talking about? I
Chris
think she's Mexican American.
Chris Cyborg is
No,
Brazilian.
no, not Cyborg.
Amanda Nunes.
Yes, yes.
Amanda Nunes. She
So,
is
what do you think about
Brazilian
her?
also. She's Brazilian also.
She is. So, what are your thoughts about her as a champion? She's pretty brutal out there, isn't she?
Yes, she's super nice. Both the girls that I've met are super nice. You'd be so surprised.
Right. Well, no, I wouldn't be surprised. I
Yeah, yeah,
wouldn't be
yeah.
surprised because you're nice, you're a fighter. I think I'm nice. I was a fighter. You know.
We get all our aggression out already. So
Yeah.
we're kind of calm, you know. I think growing up as a teenager, when my mother moved us from California to South Carolina, being away from my father, it was tough for me. And in like a teenage world, it was just terrible for me. And
Really.
I got that out.
So, what was that culture? What was that cultural difference like being raised in California? Because I'll be honest, I lived out there for 23 years, and me moving back to the East Coast was really hard for me. Really, really hard for me. How did you deal with that?
Well, in LA, white people were like a minority. So like when I
Yeah.
got here, I was like a minority. It was a lot of difference food wise. I missed the little truck food like food trucks and
Right.
ice cream, just stuff like that, little things like that. But
Yeah.
it's okay. I never moved back. I like the South now.
You're cool. You're cool.
I'm okay with it now. It's slow, but it's okay.
Right, 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 right. Well, I mean, it is slow. It is slow.
It is slow. It's slow.
I really have a problem. That's why when I do events, I have this idea about doing like Las Vegas type shows, the lights, camera, because I want to bring that,
They
kind
ain't
of
ready.
thing to the air. You know what I
They
mean?
ain't
Because
ready.
yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying. It takes a little bit of work, but I'm certainly trying to bring something different. So next weekend, you're also going to be helping us out with a little commentary, right?
Yes, sir. I am.
You'll be working with Mr. Derek Reams.
Yes,
Have
sir.
you ever met Derek?
I have not.
Well, I always like to mess with Derek. Derek is, he a guy that has. What did I do with his thing? Did I take his picture off? I had his picture coming up somewhere. But Derek is just so alive and so much energy.
Like you? Oh, it stopped. I don't know what to do now. Okay,
Are you there?
I see you now. Yeah. You,
Are you
you
there?
kind
Yeah,
of
yeah. You kind of
froze
went
for a
away there.
second.
Yeah. Kind of froze there and all. But anyway, so what are your thoughts on sitting there ringside and what kind of commentary do you think you might offer for the fighters, whether it's encouragement or advice?
I pray to God I do not use profanity. I'm gonna be in a nervous wreck because my husband's gonna be competing, and I'm gonna have to corner him. That's gonna be going through my mind. I like to see. I like to see good sportsmanship, good kicks. I want to see good combinations. I know, everybody. It's an amateur show, but
Right.
it still likes to see. I just like to see an action packed, and you always do have good fights on.
Yeah. No, they're good fights and everything, but I just kind of want to get your perspective on the kind of advice and things like that you would probably be saying. But I don't think you're gonna have a problem because one thing about it, Derek is such a great lead, right?
Yes, sir.
And he's gonna ask you 50,000 questions, and there'll be times where other people will come over and stuff like that. But I think people are gonna get excited, and feel free to wear your Conor McGregor outfit. That swagger, that was so cool. That was so cool. And seeing you do that, you do dress a little bit different when you fight. It seems like in the ring. Have you had aspirations like for modeling?
I did a little bit of modeling before I did MMA. I did a calendar for Nike shoes. Like I was just wearing their shoes. So I mean, I've done that. That's about it. And then like then I met some photographers, and then we did other things. And then Andrea Lee and I do the calendars every year. It's just extra money that,
Yeah.
especially like time right now.
Oh yeah. Everything definitely counts. In the fight game, though, even though I know you've been out there a while and you've seen a lot of people, I mentioned about the Nunez lady earlier. Do you have any role models or anything out there, people that you look up to right now?
Everybody, I mean, there's certain things I look up to, like this person, the way they kick, or this person, the way they punch, the way they have head movement. I do have like little picks and chooses and stuff like that.
Right. Little things that people that do that kind of entice you a little bit and everything and makes you more interested or things you might work on when you see them. I mean, I've always had a role models that I looked at in the sport and all, and it kind of inspired me to want to be. So you're at a point now, you've been fighting for quite a few years,
Almost 10 years.
almost 10 years. What do you see as next steps? Are you planning on doing this much longer, or what are you looking at after the fight life?
I'm riding this till the tires fall off, literally.
Right.
um, I think I feel good as long as like until somebody tells me, or if I feel like I don't know, like I have a glass chin or something. I think my body's going to tell me when it's done.
Yeah, well, you certainly want to keep your eyes open for that, right? You don't want to be in the game too long.
Mm-hmm.
There's other things that you know what it is. I talk about it often on the show about the burn, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Burning on the inside that only a fighter knows, right?
Yep, only if I
And let
knows.
me just give you a piece of advice from an old fighter,
Yeah.
right? That you want to make sure that you know when to say when, right?
Yes.
And it might not be easy, but what you can do is find other things to do, right? That offsets that passion, like me, right? Like as
Yes,
a
sir.
fighter now, you see, I'm so involved with helping other fighters reach their goals and their dreams and aspirations, all that. That keeps me healed, right? That keeps that anxiety down from wanting to fight again. You understand?
Mm-hmm,
I'm
mm-hmm.
far past that, but I mean, when I was in my 40s, I was thinking about getting back in there, right? But you don't want to get back in there and staying there too long. The thing about me, I was able to get out just in time, right? Well,
Mm-hmm.
not even just in time. I had a lot more time. But when I did get out, I still had all my faculties about me, and all of those things. Not that you necessarily won't, but you can stay in there too long, right? I
Yes,
just want
yes.
you to keep your eyes on that to make sure that you don't stay in there to the point where you get hurt or something like that. In the fight game, though, which is an unusual type career, what do you think has been the biggest reward for you?
When a little girl comes up to me and they want a picture with me, I really like that. I had no idea I had little girls. Like I didn't. Sometimes I forget it's a family friendly event because I'm in the mix. But this is when I was still an amateur, and when they want pictures with me or want T-shirts, and I didn't have T-shirts made yet, that was really really cool.
So you enjoy being a role model.
Yes.
So the things that you do, let me just kind of tilt there just for a moment. So the things that you say and the things that you do, right? The things that you promote or whatever the case might be, you know there are young people looking up to you. So
Yes.
does that make you think twice before maybe you say, do, or promote certain things?
Yes. I have to go back to PG-13.
Right, right. Well, I just think that sometimes fighters do lose the idea and the concept of that other people are looking up to them.
Yes,
And
sir.
regardless of what other views are or whatever, you should maybe think about the masses of people, right? That might be looking at what you might be saying, what you might be doing, the actions that if you smoking drugs, oh yeah, right. I want hey, kids, don't do that, right? That's a little hypocritical, don't you think?
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly.
So you do recognize that people are looking up to Andy.
Yes. So thank God for John Jones and Conor McGregor. Let them get all the spotlight of that and keeps you, like you don't want to be there. You do not
Right.
want your face up there for that.
Yeah, I think athletes sometimes lose sight of that and all, and it disturbs me sometimes when I see that. But again, you don't have to be a huge athlete. You don't have to be a huge star. It could be just me or Andy, just because you got somebody out there who are looking out for you. Look like Danielle Lopez is making a comment about you. You know who Danielle Lopez is?
No.
Well, she says Forge sisters will be looking up to women like Andy Nguyen.
Aww,
See
so
that, Andy? I
sweet.
told you. People out there looking up to you, and that's exactly what I'm saying. That you always have to watch out for what you're doing and what you're saying because somebody is looking up to Andy, right? What would be your advice to someone, Andy, as we start to wind down here? To another young lady or anyone who want to get into the MMA fight or just fighting in general, what would be your advice to them?
Fight as much as possible. Do all kinds, boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai, do it all because once you turn pro, you can't go back. I wish I did so much more IKO. I wish I did so much more. And
When
being
you
an
say
amateur,
that, when you say that, you mean you wish you'd have done more amateur fights before you turned pro
yes,
to get the experience.
to get the experience. You have to put yourself in bad spots. You don't want to take all easy fights. I've taken fights, tough fights. I've always taken tough fights. I've taken fights from 115 pounds to 135 pounds.
Wow,
Just to get a fight. Back then,
wow.
especially 10 years ago, there's not hardly any females, so just get what you can. But that's my advice: is you fight as often and fight as much as you can. Be in bad spots. Get over that. So once you turn pro, it'll just be easier. Fight easy.
And I'm curious, outside of fighting, what other passions do you have?
I do enjoy matchmaking. I'm a matchmaker for King of the Cage also.
Okay,
Uh, I
cool.
like, I don't know, I like designing posters. I like designing shirts I don't know. I like baking.
No, no, that's not
I
really.
love
I
baking.
literally meant that. I meant that as a real question.
Oh yeah, I love baking. I'll bring you some muffins. They're low carb. I
I
swear it's good,
don't
man.
know. Hey, I'm not. You'd be surprised. You say low carb as though like I eat healthy, right? I don't eat healthy all the time, but I am conscious
I'm
of
gonna
what
get you
I eat.
some low carb cornbread then. How about that? I bet you want some of that.
So what you saying? Cornbread, collard greens, and fat.
I'm
Ah!
saying
I know, I
you
know.
like stuff that I like.
Is there anything you don't eat? I'm just curious.
Is there anything I don't eat? I eat pretty much everything. I love fat. So I like bacon. I like prosciutto. I like avocado. I like eggs.
Right.
I hate bland food. I'm not big on pasta.
Uh-huh.
Uh, I'm not big on pasta. Only when I cut weight, I do get like the garlic bread with butter and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was
Um,
gonna ask. I was gonna ask you about that as well, about the cutting weight thing. Is that how do you eat when you're actually cutting weight? Could you give us a day in a diet of Andy when she's cutting weight?
well, I love salt, so I have to take off the salt. I would switch over to fight week. I would switch over to boiled eggs or fish, salmon, spinach, avocado. No bread. It's it's bad.
That's not bad. I mean,
Yeah.
that's. I mean, I think that's pretty good.
Okay.
I see behind you there. You have a lot of medals and things like that. Are those like semi-contact? Like what are those? Naga. That's like grappling tournaments.
Yes, jujitsu.
Right, right.
I wish I did more jujitsu competitions too when I was an amateur. And you can still, as a pro, you can still do jujitsu competitions now. But yes, those are my jujitsu ground
Right.
stuff, ground fighting.
Right. Well, you've done a lot of stuff. I mean, it is no doubt about that, and all. And I think again, women certainly have a lot to look up to when they look up to you, Andy, and all. And I think that you are a really positive example for a lot of young ladies and just fighters, in general. But I know that, like I said, you're looking at doing some different things. Let's see how the commentary goes. Who knows? We might can use you again and everything.
Yes.
If you like to do it, if it's something you like to do and be involved with and stuff, I have some plans for some other things that are coming along the way. You never know. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just working really hard, and you just never know. We're open to seeing where people are and everything, and seeing what we can do to continue to grow the sport and put it out there and stuff like that. And I think your energy and your charisma could do well, could serve well in front of a camera. What do you think?
Thank you. I'll take that as a compliment.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, look, Andy Nguyen, it has been so nice having you on today. We're going to try to chat with Derek. He came on a little bit earlier, and he and his friends would look like sound like they were having a party back in the background, a fight party. So now we got to see if we get him back on and everything. I don't know if he's going to. He might be mad with me now. So we'll see. But anyway, Andy, thank you so much and everything. And we're going to look forward to seeing you on next weekend at the IKF East Coast Classic.
Yes, thanks for having me. I'll see you guys next week.
Absolutely. You're awesome. Thanks so much,
Bye.
Andy. Take care. Bye-bye. All right. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So great here talking to Andy Nguyen there. She is a phenomenal human being, a great person, has a great fight history and everything. And we're so glad to have on. Once again, we want to always thank our sponsors, Wearawig.Club and Eastern Offset Printing for all they do for us. Real quick, we're going to be going to Mr. Derek Brunson here in just a moment and everything. We want to remind everybody that tickets are certainly on sale now for our show next weekend in Myrtle Beach for the IKF East Coast Classic. It's going to be a great event, guys. You can go to akapromotion.org. All of that information going on. But we got something going on this weekend. It's not me. It is Mr. Derek Brunson and his promoters over there. They got something good going on in Myrtle Beach. So without any further ado, we're going to bring up the UFC top contender. There he is, Derek Brunson.
Quite the interview.
I know, right? Well, we're just having a good time, brother. I certainly appreciate you, being on today, Derek. And I know you're busy. I know you're getting ready for some stuff this weekend and everything. But, I know you're busy, and I'm so honored to have you a part of the show, man. How's it going with you?
Pretty good, man. Just finishing up some training. Like you said, it's last minute. We got the fights coming up this weekend. So really at a crunch trying to make sure everybody got their medicals and stuff like that and ready to go.
Well, and that's why, like I said, that's why I'm doing the show on Thursday, because I knew it would be better for you than tomorrow. All right. And you have even more going on tomorrow and stuff like that. I know a little bit about that promotion thing, and how that plays out. So I wanted to go ahead and chat with you a little bit. But first of all, I want to get something settled with you, Derek. So we had a conversation not long ago about Instagram, right? And so Derek and me and Derek, we go back and forth like, we were going to fight, right? So Derek said, look, man, I got more Instagram followers than you. I said, no, you don't. No, you don't, right? It was only until I went and looked. Derek, how many Instagram followers do you have?
I'm not sure, man. Guys like you check on Instagram followers. I don't check, man. I got so many.
I don't know. It was something. I think one time I saw 56,000 or maybe a few 100,000, 195,000. I don't know. It was up there. I have to ask my daughter. But I tell you what, it's a lot more than what I have.
I believe that's one of the things we've been working on for years, just growing the fan base, growing the media. I think we got about 178, 179,000 followers on Instagram.
Right.
So yeah.
You're killing it. You're killing it, man. Good job. You had your last fight. You had a victory in your last fight, right? So and now what's up next for you, Derek?
Well, right now, like you alluded to, I just came off a big victory against the guy that was ranked number 8 in the world. He was undefeated. They had a lot of hopes for this guy, saying, he was going to be competing for a title, in a couple fights. So I had a big task in front of me, and I, passed with flying colors. And now I'm on the other end where he was at. I'm really trying to work myself to a title. So the next matchup that I'm hoping for is somebody that's, top 4 in the world that's going to really propel me and get me a rematch, against the champion.
Right. So I mean, when you right now, what are you at? What's your ranking right now?
I'm ranked number 7 in the world.
Number 7. Okay, cool. And who's the champion in that for you?
Israel Adesanya is the champion.
Oh, Israel. Now, who you fought one time already?
Right. Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, that's no easy task. That dude's got some skills. I mean, I know we talked about that before, but I know you saying, "Hey, man, he got me that time," but next time I'm to take him out.
Well, yeah, absolutely. It's all about preparation. Going to that fight, I was training at home, and I didn't have the bodies to get myself ready. But now I got to camp with guys. I got to camp with guys who are, better strikers than Israel. Just to be honest, Tyrone Spong. I mean, I'm sure you know him.
I know Tyrone.
That guy is like 100 and something and 3 in kickboxing. He's like a time world champion. So I have those type of guys in my camp now to help me get ready for fights. And
nice.
That's going to really take me to the next level.
Yeah. It really will. I think I always, believe in strong kickboxing, skills and stuff like that. And the stronger you get in that area, the better it's going to make when you need to go to the ground, you're already a collegiate wrestler, right? You're already there, but getting those upper body, those kicks, punches, knees, and elbows down, that's the whole next level. Tell me a little bit about your club over there in Wilmington, North Carolina there. I know you're the only have a nice club. Tell us a little bit about that, Derek.
Say it again about
your club over in Wilmington.
Oh yeah, we got a nice gym going. We have a youth program, we have an adult program. We're really thankful for your promotion. We had people to be able to, let's say they get ready for MMA fights. They come and do the IKF to point fighting, and they've been really pleased with that. It's a good, see where you're at, see where your skills are at, and to that next level when you get into the cage. So we got a lot of people competing, kids, adults, and pretty good program going.
Right, good. Yeah, no doubt about it. I certainly appreciate the support that you guys, and that's one of the reasons why I said, hey, let's bring you on and talk to you a little bit about, what you guys have going on. It's about working together, right? A lot of people have a tendency to, they start cutting each other's throat and they don't want to work together and all of that. I just don't want to do that, right? And all of that, we work together and we can grow the sport. You're doing MMA and grappling. I don't do anything MMA. I do boxing, kickboxing, and Muay Thai, and all of that's it. That's all I do, period. And stuff like that, because that is what really works. How was this COVID thing for you in the club? How did you guys survive that?
It was tough. We was shut down for about 5 months. So, initially, we would train at the park. A lot of us train at park. The fighters who actually had to train, because that's our livelihood. We can't just sit back for, 4 or 5 months and wait for things to get better and then be like, oh, we're going to start training again. This is my livelihood, so I have to keep at it. I had to find the safest way possible. So, yeah, like I said, we had the gym closed for about 4 or 5 months, and we're just opening back up to a decent capacity. And I think something was passed again that will allow even more people. So we're back going. We got the protocols in place. We got hand sanitizer. We're telling people, if you got fever, stay out of the gym, sanitize. We're cleaning often. And we've been back up and running for, a couple months, and we haven't had any issues. So
Right. That's good. I know you're really concerned and interested about building the next generation of fighters. And I want you to tell me a little bit about why is that important to you?
Because that's next, and I'm one of the guys, like I'm sure you've been a guy who competed at the highest level. Right. Is that when it's all said and done, I guess it's the same as like an older person retiring. It's like you want something else to do. So like this is my hobby, this is my passion. Martial arts has given me a lot. So this is like my way to give back. And I create my businesses to make money, but right now while I'm fighting, that's not my big emphasis. Is to set it up for later and later it's running successful.
Right, right. So a part of what you might be looking at is maybe doing working with some partners in the way you're working with these partners now and doing more promotions.
Yeah, doing more MMA events, managing fighters. Probably later, managing fighters might be my biggest thing, you know.
Well, let me ask you a question about that. And I can see you doing that. How important is that UFC connection to you then? I mean, because that gives you a lot of credibility, right? And the fact that when you're talking about the next generation and you start doing these shows, right, which we're going to talk about here in just a second, that the fact that you have that connection, conversations, whatever going on within you and people in the UFC about somehow your events being an incubator for their events?
Oh yeah, that's the goal. You know, that's the goal. The UFC, they pay promotions to air on the Fight Pass. So yeah, that's the goal. That's the plan. You know, to eventually get to that, to where we're putting out a good product and we have high level fights that the next guys are getting pushed along to the big show. So definitely want to create a feeder league for that.
Right, right, no doubt about that. Tell me a little bit about the guys you're working with the promotion. You're not the promoter, but you have guys that are actually promoting, and you're just kind of encouraging them and helping them along the way. Correct?
Yeah, I have a couple guys I work with. They're guys that came and said, "Hey, I want to get a promotion going, and they need a little bit of funding." So I was like, "Okay, cool. Let's make sure we have everything in place. I won't have no problem funding you guys, and let's get the fights going."
Right, right, right. Well, that's good. I think that's a good thing and everything, you know, to have someone like you to come on. Okay, so let's go now to your event this weekend in Myrtle Beach, right? Tell me a little bit about the show, what's going on, the who, what, when, and where.
Oh, yeah, and I heard you was worried, man. I talked to the hotel, man. They said, listen to what they told me. They said, listen, your show is being outperformed by Johnny Davis by 3 times the amount. Like, what's going on? So for you that was worried and concerned, I want to tell you that that's what I got in my email.
Well, let me explain. When you said worried, I wasn't worried. I don't worry because I do what I do. What it is that what I want to coordinate, and this is what you and I hadn't had that conversation yet, right? And later we did. I want to try to coordinate where we don't be on the backs of one another, right? And so that everybody wins, right? And so when you were like in Conway, you were planning your show at Conway, and for whatever reasons you decided, well, I need another venue, then that's fine. But when you went to the exact same venue, I was a little concerned a week before. Yeah, I would be a little concerned, but that's an anomaly. That doesn't happen all the time, and I'm sure it probably won't happen again. But as you said, it's 2 different sports, right? And I get it, right? But it's still kind of the martial arts. So yeah, I try to keep them a little separated.
Right, I got you.
And my show is very different from your show. I'm a tournament, right? So it's hard to compete where you have maybe 20 fights, right? You're talking about 100 fights, right, for my show. So I mean that's hard to compete with. So I wasn't worried. It's just I just want to make sure that we have proper communication. I don't want to be these guys trying to cut each other's throat,
right?
Yeah, and we can help each other. We don't have to hurt each other. We can help each other. And I'm glad you brought that up, right? I wasn't going to bring it up, but you brought it up, right? But the bottom line is that I think your show, and you know from day one, while you brought it up, that if you call me and you ask me for something or ask me for anything, whatever, was I free with it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So people need to know that I've tried to encourage your promotions because, you know, again, it's a different lane than what I do. Correct?
Correct.
All right. I just want to be clear. So tell me a little bit about the show this weekend in Myrtle Beach.
So it's obviously mixed martial arts, MMA fights. We have about 20 to 25 MMA fights. Right before that, starting at 1 p.m., we will have Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu matches. We have about 15 or 20 of those.
Nice.
We will be streaming the fights. We will have people in attendance. We got approved for up to a certain amount of people. We will encourage masks. We will have sanitizer. We will properly space. So it's going to be a good show for everybody to come out and enjoy.
Right. So it's at the Landmark this weekend. So what time should people actually get there?
So doors open at 12. Rules meeting at 12:30 for the jiu-jitsu. And MMA fights actually start. The jiu-jitsu start at 1 p.m. and the MMA fights start at 4 p.m. So people who there for the MMA fights definitely want to get there 3:30ish. People for jiu-jitsu, I would say 12:15, 12:30.
Okay, well, why do you call it the return?
You know, we haven't had MMA in the Carolinas for a while. There's been a few shows here and there. But as far as North Carolina, South Carolina, that's where we kind of like hone our promotion to, is that, you know, North Carolina hasn't had anything in like 2 years, you know, because the commission is down. So yeah, that's just kind of the name for our event.
You got a lot of pros on the show this weekend.
Yeah, we have 10 pro fights.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
I would assume somebody's selling out a few dollars.
A little bit. Hey, it's like gambling. Man, I like to gamble a little bit. So yeah, this is definitely a gamble this year. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, you really do like to gamble. Hey, listen. I'm gonna mess with you a little bit, Derek. I've been promoting for 35 or 40 years. And I mean pretty big successful shows. Do you know how many pro fights I've done?
Yeah. How many?
0.
Yeah.
Hey, and you know, there's a reason for that. Now that's gonna change. It's gonna change, I will tell you.
Yeah.
But there's a reason for that, because it costs money.
Yeah, and you know, here's the thing, it's like these people are like the pros who are successful. They're willing to work with you. They get it. The guys who are like not as successful as the guys who are like headed towards the UFC, they are the biggest complainers. They want everything.
Right.
Last fight I had a guy from like 90 miles away for amateur fight, waiting the day of the fight. They were begging us to buy amateurs hotel rooms, which is like, you don't do that. You know what I mean? It's like some coaches are unrealistic and they don't want to work with you either. But it's like, listen, if you want the promotions to stay around for fighters, in order for them to get somewhere, you need to work with them. Otherwise, they're going to be phased out, which the promotion that I came up on, they phased out because these guys are asking too much money. And the promoters.
Let me bring you back to the center a little bit, Derek, to the center of the camera. You're absolutely right. People who don't understand the promotions business, right? What happens is that the people will ask, and you get caught up in a bind where you think you need them, and you end up spending a bunch of money putting on an amateur show, and that money's not coming back in. It's not going to come back in. And here's the basic math. Let me give you the basic math. So if you sell a ticket, right, for 45, 50 bucks or whatever it is, right, every time, right, you put a fighter on the card, you assume, right, that they are going to be selling XYZ tickets. If they sell none, right? You're right. There you go. You are eating that, right? And so a lot of the trainers don't understand. And when I work with people, I try to educate them on, okay, here's the deal. If you're going to be on this fight card, you got to help me. You help me, and I'll help you, right? And that's what it's a lot about. So being a new promoter, you're already kind of being smart about it. But 10 pro fights,
I know that's crazy.
Hey, I'll talk to you afterwards.
It's too late now. I'm already committed.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I'll talk to you. So you think that there's not a lot of MMA shows going on right now, of course, right? But what about the quality of the shows that are going on? Do you think there's some lack of quality in these shows?
I think you got a lot to choose from. So guys are starving to get fights. So I think the quality is good right now. You know, there aren't that many shows. So yeah, I think they're putting together good matchups right now.
Right, good. So the do you have any specific names of some fighters? You have the card in front of you?
Yeah, let me pull it up. Let me see. We got our biggest fight is Adley Edwards. He was actually on the UFC Contender show, and he got injured. So he would have won that fight. He could have potentially been in the UFC.
Wow.
So he's like the main event on the card. So he's looking at getting a call up to the UFC in a fight or two, you know, or potentially getting back on the Contender show. So that's a guy that's on the radar. I believe he's 6-1, 7-1. We have a lot.
Who is he fighting? You know, who is this opponent?
He's fighting a guy from Missouri, Jake Williard, I believe.
Okay.
So yeah, he's a decent opponent. And we got some guys from, you know, North Carolina, South Carolina, undefeated guys that are going to be the next guys coming up in North Carolina. You got Theo Rayling, he's 2-0. Nate Arriaga, he's 1-0.
Hey, I see your daughter. Hey, I see your daughter in the background. What's that? She has on a. Is that the
No, that's the gym manager. Yeah.
Oh, she's a gym man.
Yeah.
Tell her hello. Good. Yeah, and you know, so you have a lot of guys from this area who are fighting North and South Carolina.
Yeah, it's a lot of guys from North Carolina, South Carolina, and then we have guys coming from Florida, from Missouri, from a couple of different other places. Also.
Good. How is it working with the commission, the South Carolina Commission, when it comes to the? Oh, okay. When it comes to the pro fights, what kind of things are they requesting?
The commission, honestly, Andy is the guy who runs the commission. He's fair.
Can I bring you back to the center? Let me bring you back to the center of the camera, the other way. Yeah.
Andy is a guy who is the head guy for the commission. He's fair. He's good. He's a guy who likes to work on one fight at a time. So if you got a boxing event going on, you might want to take note of that a week before. But yeah, he gets stuff done, and he's pretty fair. He works with you. So yeah, the South Carolina commission not too bad.
Right. Well, you know, are you planning on promoting in different areas or just mostly in the South Carolina area?
Well, I want to get back to North Carolina really bad. Like, North Carolina is like, we have a lot of connections. Most of the fighters are based out in Carolina. So yeah, as soon as we get a boxing commission back in North Carolina, definitely want to get back to North Carolina.
I'm trying to get them to let me take over the amateur Muay Thai and kickboxing, but that's a challenge. You know, because you have so many people. Somebody is suggesting Walnut Hills or Rock Hill. Rock Hill, I think he's talking about Rock Hill, South Carolina. I don't know. What's Walnut Hills? Where's I don't even know what that is. Is that in North Carolina?
Walnut Hills?
Yeah, he's saying that. I guess he's suggesting a place where you could do events. He says Walnut Hills or Rock Hill Road. Where's that? Road? I don't know. Where's that?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, but he's suggesting maybe, come to there. Hey, look like you're going to have a lot of pull, man, across the country and everything. It looks like it's going to be a great event. Now, how do people get tickets this weekend?
We have an online link. You can search Ultimate Battlegrounds. You can also get tickets at the door, or you can contact a local fighter and get tickets for them also. How much are the tickets? So the tickets are $50 for the seats, and then you have tables that are $600 that seats up to 8.
Oh, nice. Okay, so there's one name that's going to be at the front door, right? A professional courtesy, right? Like something like Johnny Davis, just like your name will be at my event next week. Didn't I hear you say that? I'm not sure.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure. That should be a lot of fun. I want to also give my condolences to someone that you lost recently. I think you said it was your grandmother?
Yeah.
Now, she was 96 years old.
Yeah.
But it was something about, and as we close out here, Derek, there was something about the way you announced her death that seemed like it was okay.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, it was more a celebration of life. Imagine, like, there's kids, there's teenagers, there's gun violence, there's drugs. People die at, 12, 13, 20, 30. And for somebody to live 96 years, that's a blessing. It's so hard to be sad. I mean, you're sad to the fact that they're not here any longer, but they lived a great life, So the older you get, you start really realizing and understanding and being appreciative, of everything.
So what in her memory, is that the main lesson that she taught you, or what else? Or was there something else that she might have taught you in her living?
Yeah, I mean, that was the main lesson, to draw strength from that situation. And also she was a firm believer in God, So that definitely something I am also. So
that's a solid lesson. Well, Derek, I tell you what, brother, I'm looking forward to seeing you out there this weekend, and I'm wishing your show all the success in the world and everything. And again, afterwards we'll have a little chat, and you'll tell me everything. So let me know if you need anything, if I can do anything for you, brother.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, thanks so much, Derek. Appreciate you.